Evaluators are frequently hired by one parent or the other. So the evaluator's purpose is to achieve the parent's goal, the goal of the parent who hired him or her.
Whatever expert you get to say about how bad mom is at parenting her child, the other side can get another expert to say, mom's a great parent. And that's where the rub comes, because the fact that it has no merit.
It's known within the industry that certain firms have certain custody evaluators in their back pocket. And I can confirm that that's what happens.
So it really shows you so often what matters is not the relationship between the children and both parents, but money.
Deborah Singer had an experience with one of those evaluators.
My case was very, very simple. I had been taking care of my daughter since she was born, alone since she was 9 months old, financially providing in every way.
In Miss Singer's case, there was a particular bank account that had liquid funds. Once the court sees the financial picture, it says, now I know I've got money to work with.
Right.
You said that in court?
On the transcript,
sure,
on the record. Commissioner Gretchen Taylor said, there is going to be a custody evaluation, and you're either going to pick Dr. Susie Dupay or Dr. Joseph Kenan.
No other custody evaluator was acceptable for the judge, so they chose Dr. Joseph Kenan.
He pulled up in an Aston Martin. He was dressed very, very well. He didn't even know my name. He didn't know my ex-husband's name. He didn't know anything about the case, which was very shocking. I sat down with him, and he put a microphone in front of me, and he said, tell me about birth until you were 10 years old. So I start talking. He was sweating, he was anxious. I felt very uncomfortable. I could tell that there was something that just wasn't settling right. My instinct was that there was something terribly wrong.
When it was over, she gave Dr. Kenan a check for his agreed-upon fee, $7,500.
He rushed directly to her bank to cash the check.
I got a call from the manager at the bank, who I know, and said, there is a man downstairs trying to cash a check for $7,500. And I thought, why would this doctor not just deposit my check into his account?
Within a couple of days type of thing, I received a phone call from him. He was asserting to me that for another 25 or 35, he'd be able to give us what we wanted. And I said, not 25? And he said, yeah, 25,000. And of course, then I realized I'm dealing with a major problem. Right this moment, as the wheels turn, you think about, am I going to accuse the judge's appointed, licensed psychiatrist of attempting to commit extortion? We spin out of control, it bodes poorly against my client, and all hell breaks loose. Didn't know what to do. I get a call out of the blue from somebody who wanted to have lunch with me. Coming back from lunch, we bump into Dr. Kenan on the street. My friend looks over and sees him, and I looked at him and I said, do you know him? And he said, literally, do I know him? Hold on a second, I'll show you his Facebook. Instead of Joe Kenan, he calls himself Joe Keegan.
There was one after another of shocking photos of sex, porn stars, cocaine.
Took them 10 years for me. It goes to the degree of how well I hid things.
One specific photograph, it was a picture of Dr. Kenan and his 2 other friends. It was a flyer for a party, and it said the dysfunctional family, and at the bottom of it, it said, bareback anal sex with strangers following the event. And I'm thinking, this is the guy that's gonna tell me whether or not I'm a good mother? If I had one photo like that on my Facebook, Dr. Kenan would have taken my child away from me. She would have been gone.
Well, probably any evaluator,
Any
actually.
evaluator. Do whatever you want in your private life, but you do not get to determine what's best for my child.
When the story hit the press, Dennis Braun received phone calls from other parents that had been evaluated by Dr. Kenan.
Out of the 100 or so phone calls that I received, women were literally crying on the phone to me about the injustice they felt had been perpetrated upon them by Dr. Kenan. And I kind of found it somewhat disingenuous that the court would say that they had not heard that Dr. Kenan was one of the questionable evaluators.
It turns out the court system is well aware of issues like this. In 2010, California's auditor was ordered to examine the family courts. The audit discovered that the courts were forcing parents to pay thousands of dollars to unlicensed and unqualified evaluators.
I'm an ex-cop, all right? I know what it is to drive a police car. I know what it is to sit in back of one. I'm not easily hustled. And when I see these custody evaluators, they sicken me.
There's been no outreach whatsoever about this from the court system. And Dr. Kenan is free to continue to do custody evaluations if lawyers contact him, which I fully believe they are.